If we had more people like you, I'd have fewer crimes to report." "Thank you." Jimmy wanted to believe Felix's high regard would remain intact, but he was afraid. There was a reason he was 26 years old with no best friends to call his own besides his mother and grandmother. He'd been a sickly kid who'd had to spend a lot of time indoors. Jimmy hadn't been able to do all the fun things other kids took for granted, like sleepovers and camping trips or even birthday parties. By the time he reached middle school, Jimmy had been far behind socially. The kids hadn't bullied him. It was so much worse. Jimmy felt like his classmates weren't even aware of his existence. He walked through the school hallways like a pale, skinny ghost. And high school? Ugh. The term late bloomer was the understatement of the century. He didn't want his thoughts to go there because he was a grown-ass man who still hadn't bloomed, at least not while in the same room with another person. "Jimmy, I think it's time for a little of Uncle Felix's tough love. If you—" Felix paused suddenly. "Why are you making that face?" "What face?" Jimmy asked. Felix screwed up his handsome features to form a cartoonish mashup of disgust and disbelief. Jimmy was sure he'd never made such a face in his lifetime. Hell, he hadn't been aware a person could even make that expression. It was hard to take his mentor seriously when he looked so ridiculous. Laughing, Jimmy said, "Knock it off. So maybe I exaggerated a little, but you were completely grossed out by something I said." Felix's eyes widened. It was the Uncle Felix part. Since he was hyper-focusing, Jimmy felt his facial features shift as if on cue. Felix lifted his phone and quickly snapped a picture. Jimmy groaned. "What are you doing?" "Aha!" Felix said, flipping the phone around so Jimmy could see the picture he'd taken. "Tell me I was wrong." The picture clearly depicted Jimmy cringing, but it was nothing like the expression Felix had made. He could argue with the man, or he could get on with the boot camp lesson. They had a staff meeting in 30 minutes, and arguing with Felix could easily last all day. "I guess I find the term kind of creepy," Jimmy admitted, but wouldn't confess it was because of the uncle porn he'd watched on his tablet the previous night. He had no reason to believe the two actors were really related, but it didn't stop his face from flushing bright red. "You're not old enough to be my uncle." Felix was only 10 years older than Jimmy. "You're more like an older brother, but I'm happy just to call you my friend." "I wouldn't take such an avid interest in just anyone's life," Felix said, as he extended his hand once more for his protégé's bucket list. "Jimmy, to find the confidence to pursue your dreams, you first must own them. If you can't speak your wishes out loud to me, a friend, or even quietly slide them across the desk, how will you ever find the courage to chase them?" "Fine," Jimmy grumbled as he placed the paper in Felix's hand. His friend silently read the list before looking up to meet Jimmy's gaze. "What on this list embarrasses you? You've listed the kinds of things most people have already accomplished by my age," Jimmy said. "I've never swum with dolphins," Felix said. "I've never parasailed or gone skydiving." His friend returned his attention to the list. "I've never been up in a hot air balloon either." Felix took a deep breath and looked up at Jimmy. "Show me the other list." Heat crept up Jimmy's neck. "I don't know what you're talking about." Felix shook the paper and smiled. "There's not a single thing on this list to make a person turn that shade of pink. What do you call it, fuchsia?" Felix shook his head. "You've named personal and career goals anyone would be proud to discuss in a crowded room. Most of them are things no 20-something young man has yet achieved. Your flushed cheeks," he said, gesturing to Jimmy's face, "make me think there's another list." "No," Jimmy said adamantly. He'd rather set himself on fire than reveal his deepest desires to another human being, especially